tuning in from the Gold Coast too.
Hey, mate.
All right, so that's it. Eric Roy, thank you for holding it down for
See you
this heat.
guys.
Dave Winchester's going to sneak in here. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Stone and Mike Stewart advance on to round number 4. Unfortunately for Mark McCarthy, good job, Eric. Mark McCarthy, unfortunately, one of the last two South Africans in this event, has just been knocked out. Can Sasha Specker coming up in heat number 8 against Ben Player and Andrew Lester. Will he be able to advance on? Sasha's been on fire, and right off the bat, it is Ben Player.
Good morning, guys. Benny on the phone ball. Little breakfast barrel for him.
Nice. So Dave Winchester now in the hot seat, along with myself, Manny V, and Andrew Lester, taking a look at this one.
Lester, he kicks from so far out. Look at that tube style. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? And big roll out there to start the campaign to the two Aussies taking the Safa on. So the last Safa in the comps now. So I'm sure all the South Africans at home will be cheering on for Spexy here to take the two Aussies down. I think Benny might have got the better of that exchange. It was sort of bigger wave and cleaner, and he just sort of dug those legs in and just sat on that foam ball. Look, he thinks it's out at Whaley Wedge or something there, doesn't he? Just toying with the barrel, and nice little clean roll out there. So I think we'll see Benny Player on get a bit better score than Andy Lester on that one so far.
Whaley Beach, is that one of those names we can say broadcast live over the internet?
Whaley Wedge, yeah. I can Google it. No, everyone knows about Whaley Wedge. Ben will just drop in on you anyway.
There's another look at Andrew Lester right here, a nice little frothy barrel. And you can see now people are starting to put these big combination rides together, barrel into a big move. And Andrew Lester, I love this guy.
Yeah, I'm staying with him in he's a bit of a cruiser. He's really good to stay with, and it's great to have him back on tour. He was missed for a couple of years there, but yeah, we're pretty pumped to see him back there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Terry Teza McKenna has stepped in, and I'm going to take a break. You guys don't go anywhere. Round number 4 is a non-elimination round, and out in the heat, definitely a heat to watch. One more time, Jake Stone, Mike Stewart advancing on. Mark McCarthy, unfortunately, the last of 2 South Africans to get knocked out of the event. Manny V, I'll see you in a couple more heats. Teza, where are you at?
Here we go, Spexy straight into it. His third priority has a nice long barrel. He's just stalling it up. He wants to get a roll out of this like the other boys did. So Spexy just putting his chest up there, letting the judges know he made that thing and then got out of there. Lester straight into one, scooping again, spin in the pit. That was pretty incredible. He's going to get a nice clean roll out. There's the old Aussie Tour combos coming in. Let's hope the judges saw that spin in the pit. Yeah, he's letting everyone know he did it. He's looking in on the land, and Spexy just near the rocks there. That was a good exchange there. Sasha getting a nice barrel and roll combo, but Andy Lester, he got a small little nuggety one, and he wanted to mix it up, so he chucked a spin in there. Be interesting to see what scores come through. And Teza McKenna has stepped into the booth.
G'day, Winnie. How are you, mate?
Good, how are you?
Good, mate. I tell you what, waves are... this morning when I rocked up, it was really small, and then just as the sun came up, sort of surf kind of surged on with it. I was a bit worried there for a while, but have a look at this replay, mate. Take us through this.
Yeah, Specs was just waiting out the back for this one, and you see him just on that nice little foam ball, and he just keeps stalling it up as he comes through this because he just wants to get that roll out. The judges love to see the little roll out, the move out of here. We saw in that last heat, Jake Stone doing that big flip out of that thing, and it was a smaller wave. You see Spexy just getting out on the rocks there.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's the first off the profile for Sasha Specker, 28 years of age from South Africa. He's a trialist. He came through the trials and, he's sitting right up on top or up towards the top of the GQS ratings at the moment, mate. He is looking pretty good to qualify for next year.
Yeah, he's sitting in third, so he's telling me yesterday he's pretty excited to get the opportunity to go on the World Tour next year. So he hopes to do a couple more of the comps. And you see Lester, this little inside one. He gets in the tube, he throws that spin under the lip, and then gets a nice clean roll out of this. This is a good combo. I wouldn't like to be a judge on this one, and this is a tough decision. He did one at Pipe this year, and he didn't get too rewarded for it. So we'll see what comes through.
kingy, actually. That's very kingy-esque, isn't it? I mean, that little spin in the tube like that. And I remember Damien came and spoke to the judges in Hawaii about that exact same thing and said, mate, it's pretty technical sort of move, as we see once again Blue just getting a nice little tube to spin combo. Zeroes in on this end section and then kicks out. I mean, if you're going to commit yourself to that last manoeuvre on that right, you've got to be super committed, don't you, mate?
Yeah, it's if you don't have the really maximum speed, the section's almost a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So you sort of you can't really get to it. So you got to have max speed, really.
Right, well, once again, Lester dropping into this one, folks, and zeroes in on that end section. Boom, nice big invert. A little kind of chewed up in the suds, and, well, he kind of landed at the bottom. It's a bit different here with the completion of the manoeuvres, isn't it, Dave? Because normally, judges like to see the riders completely ride out of the foam and, make sure that it's all done. But here they're really focused just on the landing.
Yeah, last year it was they almost set the precedent, like you had to ride right onto the rocks, so everyone was going right onto the rocks. But this year they've sort of been a bit more lenient, so you can have a couple of bounces, and because it is such a critical and shallow section on that end, that they've kind of been a little bit more lenient, so it's good. It's good.
They've got the legacy of the replay in the judges' booth now, so they've got the screen up, the plasma screen, and they're taking a direct feed from the webcast. So, what you people see at home, judges also see. And, some of those ones, those tricky landings, like, remember on that day when Nick Gornell got that one and, they looked at that thing a couple of times just to make sure that it was completed. And, most of the time they're getting it right. Of course, there's a small amount of human error, and it's pretty tough in general just being a judge, mate, isn't it? Or a referee or any sort of... they can have that job, can't they?
Yeah, I know. Well, there's no right or wrong answer. There's it's an opinion, so it's a pretty hard one to dispute. And as we saw the replay of Sasha Specker here on the right-hander, just sliding to the right, getting a nice little forward spin out. But as I said, you just want to have max speed for that end section, and he didn't really have it there.
All right, well, looks like Lester, he hasn't wasted any time. Davey's gone straight into the lead with a 6.83 and a 6.0. Second spot, Sasha Specker's got a 6.93 and a 4.67. And BP hanging on to a 6.17 in third. But he does have first priority, only needing a 5.44. There's the replay of that nice invert from Andrew Lester. Once again, judges will be just looking at that and having a real long, hard think about it. Well, what did they give him? It was a 4.33. Maybe they deemed that incomplete then, or semi-incomplete.
Yeah, they must have pinned him for the landing on that one because he, you think it would have been a more 4.33 if he landed it cleanly. But he's still sitting in the top spot, and he got a 6 point for that spin under the lip.
Yep.
Where that similar thing happened at Pipeline, and so as you were saying before, Kingy's a really good spin in the pit sort of rider, and I was talking to Lester and a couple of guys yesterday about it. Kingy and Lester have been the best pocket surfers, I'd say, in the world for the last decade, and they still are.
Well, welcome back, folks. Terry McKenna, Dave Winchester, taking you through day number 3 here at Arica for the Arica Chilean Challenge, of course, proudly brought to you by the guys at Stealth and presented by BSC. That's Bodyboarders Surf Code Down Under, and, of course, Tamachi Surf Shop as well. So, mate, it's a little smaller today, and there's a bit of a break in the action. So while we've got a little break here, we might actually throw down to the winner of the previous heat with Alex Leon. Alex, take it away.
Thanks, Tezza. Down here that heat winner, Jake Stone from Australia. Jake, well done, buddy.
Thanks, Leo. Yeah, no, I had a good heat. I was stoked. I had a terrible heat. I'm not going to lie anymore. I had a terrible heat, but I got a good wave in the last 3 minutes, which was, really, really rare. So I was stoked.
Yeah, you talk about digging deep and breaking the shovel. You had about a minute left and to pull that flip out. So without that, mate, you would have been going home. You're very, very lucky.
Oh, man, I am. I just kept getting the crappiest waves, like taking off, and I remember just being in one hollowest, shallowest pit, and I was like, what am I even doing here? Like, I deserve to get knocked if I don't make this, and then I didn't, and I was just stoked to get that last one. I really put the nail in the coffin. I was loving that. That's what you come do the comps for. You.
Yeah, that's it. We see you fist pumping out there afterwards out in the lineup. Knew you had the score there because the one set came through, but didn't have much to offer for Mark and Mike. But must be pretty stoked now. You advanced through. Dreams are still alive here in Arica.
Well, that's my best result this year. I always get off to a slow start in the year and then it slowly progresses. That's just the way it is with me. But it's good. It's looking up, so I'm psyched. Thanks.
Yeah, well done, Jake. You'll see him throw down in the next round, I'd say. So back to you boys up in the booth.
All right, thank you very much. Alex Leon doing a fantastic job as we're in day number 3 here at Arica. And as we were saying, conditions are a little smaller. You've been out there today, Dave. How was it?
Yeah, my heat was pretty slow, but as we have seen in this heat, there's just been constant waves. I mean, Lester got 3 waves within the first sort of 5-6 minutes, and but now we see a little lull. You just sort of, I don't know, Jake asked me before his heat, he goes, do you think I just wait and be patient? I was like, oh, you got to wait, but don't be too patient because they might not come.
Yeah, that's right. It's important to get rhythm in heats too. Sometimes you can wait so long that you kind of fall out of rhythm with the ocean. It's pretty important to feel the beat, get into it, feel that rhythm. But I hope you're enjoying the action, folks. It is day number 3 live from Arica. We've got 2 more days of competition remaining after this. But today, Dave, we're going to try and push through and finish these non-elimination heats. There's a lot of blue sky around, mate, and I mean, that's a good and bad thing. It's good for the spectators, but it's bad for us because it means the onshore could come early.
Yeah, it was a really stiff offshore this morning, and I've been finding that when there's a stiff offshore, it kind of goes quickly. It goes really hard for a bit, and then it just goes. It's sort of when you really light mornings, it just hangs around. The cloud hangs around. It just stays longer. But this non-elimination round will be pretty fun, and I'm pretty pumped to get in the water and have a good heat.
Yeah, cool. Well, we got after today, folks, we've got 2 more 4-hour days. So that's 7:30 starts, 11:30 finishes. Wind traditionally comes up here around lunchtime, around about 12. Sometimes, if you're lucky, as Dave said, maybe around 1 o'clock if it's cloudy. But with those offshores in the morning, Dave, seems like it kind of blows the cloud away, and that brings in onshore wind just a little earlier.
Yeah, it starts to heat up a little bit too soon for our liking, but yeah, I'm sure we'll get a few. And the conditions is really light right now and clean, so not too many more heats to go.
What about Brazil, mate? We're going, of course, off to Itacoatiara is the next one. Have you been there before?
I've never been there, no.
Never been to Brazil?
I've been to Brazil once, just to Rio, but I've never been to this beach, and I can't wait. It sounds amazing. I've seen photos and wedgie waves, and so I'm pretty pumped to get there. Yeah,
it looks unreal. Absolutely insane. So big shout out to Giuliano and all the guys watching. Of course, they're pulling together the event, running around behind the scenes at the moment. It takes a lot of effort to pull together one of these things, that's for sure. Okay, well, there's the situation. Andrew Lester in the lead, 6.83 and a 6.0. Specs is sitting in second. Doesn't need too much of a score to take the lead. And BP's been pretty quiet, but, mate, it's at this level, it's all about wave selection, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you got that one off the bat, and I'd say he'd be in first priority right now. So you see the guys looking at these inside ones. Lester must be third priority if he's sort of having a sniff at that little one. But Ben Player just waiting it out, and he's got a 6.17. He knows he needs a 5.44 to jump in a second. So he's just going to try and post a big score.
All right, well, coming up next, of course, we go into the first of our non-elimination rounds. PLC is going to take on Magno Passos, Dallas Singer and Mitch Rawlins. This is, like you said, Dave, a good opportunity, this showcase round, to just go out there and put on a show, really. I mean, there's still the benefit, though, of it coming first or second, because you do get to skip around. So, whilst there's a little less pressure with the non-elimination, you still want to take it pretty seriously. Yeah,
you definitely do, because if you win, you'll get a day off tomorrow, because you'll skip 2 heats. So, and you end up with a minimum of an equal 5th. So although you can't get knocked out, it's almost like if you really, really want to win this heat.
Yeah.
So a huge advantage if you do.
All right, well, that will be coming up shortly, folks. That will be the next one on the program. And straight after that, of course, we'll have Amaury Laverne. Denton Correa, the last of the Chilean guys, will be there. Jeff Hubbard and GT. What's your thoughts on Denton Correa and Alan Munoz, the local guys here? Pretty good, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't... I've seen the Denton guy a bit, but I've mostly seen Alan and been impressed by his surfing. I mean, he just is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had more opportunity to pursue it a bit more and maybe a bit more money came his way, it'd be pretty amazing to see on the qualifying tour, because I dare say he could make it.
Yeah, well, I think next year we're going to have an incredible, Chilean leg. We're going to have, of course, Antofagasta, Arturo Soto, who's actually filming us at the moment. That's the promoter from Antofagasta. He's going to be putting on another big contest, and we've got a contest that looks like shaping up for a Kike.
Yeah.
Have you been down there, Dave? Surfed
Yeah.
around there before? Pretty good waves?
There's a wave called Intendencia there. It's a
Right.
nice heavy left-hander, and it was good waves and good fun.
Well, I'm flying up down there, or is it up or down? It's
Down.
Flying down there on
Yep.
Monday to meet with the government just for the day to tie up an event for next year. So we'll have Antofagasta, Arica, and then Arica. So we're going to have 3 big contests, and mate, that's going to be really good for Chilean bodyboarding. And like when you think of this country and its rugged sort of coastline with all the reefs and crazy waves that they've got, it's so suited towards bodyboarding, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, as you see, the riders over the last few years, they've just seen a lot of the good guys come here, and they've got a bit more experience, and they're surfing really, really well. So, yeah, given that opportunity, I mean, 3 contests for them, they're going to be amazing in them.
Yeah, I mean, I think of when you think of Peru and Chile, I think of Peru as these long point waves that are really good for riding surfboards on, and then I think of Chile, and I just think of bodyboarding. I'd like to tell you the truth, I've only seen one guy in the whole time I've been here with a surfboard under his arm, and that was Mano, the commentator. You know, you just don't see any guys riding surfboard. It's just full on bodyboarding around here, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. As you said, the reefs are pretty heavy, so. Yeah, it tends to be better for a bodyboard.
Yeah, and I heard also surfboards are really expensive here. They're like over $1,000 US, and so you probably don't want to snap one of those things, man. It costs you like a year's wages.
Yeah, a guy surfed the other morning and he snapped one. He was screaming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there you go. No wonder. It kills. It's like crashing a Porsche.
Yeah.
All right, well, as we said, the non-elimination round coming up next, Pierre-Louis Costes, Magno Passos, Dallas Singer, and Mitch Rawlins. That heat the other day with King, Rawlins, and Singer was a real cracker to watch, and Dallas looks so comfortable out here. It's just like a kind of a bigger version of Boxy, really, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that once he gets on a roll, he just keeps getting on it, and so he's really good in those left barrels and doing big inverts and flips and whatnot. So, he's really hard to beat.
Yeah, I know he's looking for a pretty good result here because he had a bit of a tricky start to his season, and a big result here would sort of get him back into the mix. Okay, well, we're just waiting for some waves to come through, folks. Thank you very much to, of course, our major sponsors, Stealth and BSC.
Huge lull right now. We've had about a 7 or 8 minute since Benny caught a wave.
Yeah, big lull.
So, I mean, he's only had 1 wave and there's only 12 minutes left.
Well, here's some cool shots of Arica, Dave, and that's, of course, the big flag up there on El Morro, and what a classic city it is, eh?
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing little town, and all the people here are so friendly, and you can sort of go to the cool markets and stuff like that, and you see all the school kids walking down the main strip.
Yeah, well, they had the schools promo yesterday, mate. Did you get along to that at all?
Yeah, we headed to the schools and did 2 different schools. Here goes Andy Lester on a little nugget.
All right, back to live action. Lester, well, that's a nice little wave. And as Dave Winchester, my co-commentator, said, that was about a 7 or an 8 minute lull. So, just a fraction of the action of the previous heat. But Andrew Lester there really cashing on that inside wave. And he was in third priority. The other guy sitting and waiting. And here's the replay. When he take us through this?
Yeah, he was trying to beat a 6 there. So he just got this little inside one pretty deep. And they're like the heavy little nuggety waves. He comes over that shock. He does really well to get to the section there. And he just, instead of just doing a normal roll, he throws it into a sort of ARS. So just try and mix it up and try and get more than a 6. So I guess he's hoping to get into the 6.25, something like that. And that's why I mixed it up with the ARS there.
Yeah, well, I think if you want to, we want to push your scores up into that excellent range, you definitely have to do something coming out of the tube. We've just seen too much tube time here to give big scores anymore, unless it's, a big bomb and you backdoor it or you're doing something silly. But, just your standard long barrel rides now starting to almost get a bit boring, mate. We've had that many of them.
Yeah, the waves really turn on, and he did what he wanted to do on that. Andy Lester got a 6.13, so he got 0.13 better. So, I mean, he's already back out to the peak, and there we see Mitch Rawlins getting pumped for this next heat. That water didn't taste that good. No. He's just always pulling some funny faces, isn't he?
He's a cracker. Yeah, well, Rawlins will take on Pierre-Louis Costes, Magno Passos, and Dallas Singer, but pretty important to hydrate around here, mate. One of the driest places on earth.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy here. They were saying, Tamati was saying yesterday they had 1 day of rain in the last year, just
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
And he said even that was rare.
Yeah, that's right. I
So-
heard that when it rains around here, that people just walk outside and it's kind of like, it's like an eclipse or something. It
Yeah.
just rarely happens, but it's very much a moonscape. There's not a lot of greenery around here, but we
Yeah.
do have some energy approaching in the former sets, Dave, and it looks like Red's into this one, BP.
Benny player. I reckon this wave looks like an absolute cracker, and he just slides under that lip. Look at him just controlling that barrel. Big, heavy roll out, and he's looking for something else to try and milk this, isn't he? That wave was probably one of the bigger waves we've seen, and it's taken almost 20 minutes to come through. But
What did he need prior to that?
he needed a 6-8 to go to first,
Well, here's
or
the
a
replay.
5-4-4
Have a
to
look
go
at
to
this.
second.
Such a big, beautiful green canvas, and they're the ones that you can really throw big numbers on because they're just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it's just that wave just came in. I had a little look, and it just came in so nicely. And Benny has gone catapulted into first place
Whoa.
on that one.
Have a look at this
But
with blue.
Bex on a big left. Gets under that lip and
Oh.
See him go over the falls then? I was
Well,
like,
yeah.
Jack in the box.
He just got ragdolled, the little
Yeah.
South African. Well, that was an awesome two-wave exchange there between Ben Player and Sasha Specker from South Africa. Well, right now, Specs is down into third place. Ben BP's wave came through. Winnie, what was it?
He needed a 7.8 to go to first, and he got a 7.83, so he's just slid in there.
All right, well, there's PLC looking pretty pumped at the moment, our current world champion on the IBA World Tour. And so cool to see, like, a young fit guy like PLC up there and, as the world champion, mate. Pretty inspirational for the young guys. I was talking to Eric Roy the other day about it. He said, I'm 18, and he goes, I can really relate to that. And it reminds me of the days when Andre, with his long blonde hair, and he was a grommet, and he was a world champ. And, it's pretty cool that it's, young guys can really relate to it, and it's awesome, mate. But we got to get you one of these things one day, don't we?
Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's a long year, so to see Pierre come out on top last year, it's pretty good. He is the first young guy since Andre to win it, and I mean, Andre when he did it was just ridiculous because he was like 17.
Yeah, that was
like
awesome.
So I mean, that's pretty incredible.
I remember at the presentation night that we had in Confitel the year that we crowned Amaury, and I was up on stage right next to Pierre, and a bunch of French guys, including Pierre, lifted him up, and he was holding the trophy, and I just saw Pierre looking up at him. I could see the little glint in his eye, and whilst he was stoked for Amaury, I won't say he was jealous, but he was envious,
Yeah.
and you could just see him to think like, man, next year this is going to be you holding me.
Yeah, no, I'd say he was jealous. They're probably the two most competitive guys on tour with each other.
Right.
They're really good friends, but they're super competitive. So
Yeah,
I
awesome.
mean, yeah, but now he's got one. So
Yeah, it's one apiece.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard, eh? I reckon the second year of backing up on a world title will be pretty hard because, like, you'd be just, it's like when you win a contest. Quite often you see someone win a contest and they get a bad result straight after it.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of peak and then you kind of back off. I don't know. It's hard to maintain the rage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is definitely.
Well, there's the current situation on screen, folks. BP in first place, Andrew Lester in second, Sasha Specker, South Africa, only needing 6.03 to be second, but he's in third place, and we look like we got a little something coming through. Specs might even have a look at this thing.
Yeah, he's in third priority, and the other guy's sitting a bit further out, so Specs is just kicking onto this little insider, but as we see, you can get big scores on the inside ones. It looks like a big ramp coming ahead. Big invert, and he lands a little bit on top and kind of gets caught up in the foam, but Specsy really going for it. So he's 6 minutes left, 6.5 minutes to go, so he's going to get back out there and try and get another one.
All right, well, he didn't have anything to waste on that one. As we said before, he was in third priority. Little wave came through, only needing just over a 6-point average, and, one of those little insiders, had he landed that, probably would have been okay, but you can see this wave as he paddles into it here, Dave, and pretty clean on takeoff. Then it gets all that froth on it. Once you get those froth monsters like that, it is hard to set the rail, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to get a really clean line. He just sort of wished that came in a little bit more, so it would have thrown him a bit more to the flats. But as I said, he got caught up on the top and wasn't able to ride out of it.
All right, well, looks like score's not enough for Sasha Specker. He'll still remain in third place. Right now, BP played a very smart heat, hasn't he, Dave? He's just sat and waited for the bombs. What's he got? What's his two waves?
He's got a 6.17 for that first one, a 7.83 for the second wave. So Yeah, he's played it really smart. He's only caught 2 waves, but they're 2 good scorers, so
Yeah.
there's no room for error on them. And he just he just performed those moves really well. He rode them
Alrighty.
perfectly.
Well, there it is, folks, and we are coming down to the wire for this one. Get down to the business end with just over 5 minutes remaining. BP, Ben Player in the lead, 783.617. Andrew Lester sitting in second spot, needing just over a 7-point average to take the lead. And as you can see there, Sasha Specker needing a 6.03. I guess that's a kind of a dangerous position, really, for Lester. He is holding second position. You can see Specs just sitting wide and on the inside, as you do when you don't have priority.
Yeah, well, you think back to Andy's wave, he got that 6.13 for. He got that inside little nugget barrel with that ARS out. So Specker needs something like that. So it's pretty easy to get. He's just going to have to go out there and wait his turn. But we see Lester here, he's going to try and up the ante a bit. He wants to hit the 7s, 8s, and get a bit more comfortable.
This is going to spell trouble for Sasha Specker because Andrew Lester parks it in the tube, puts a pie in the oven and rolls out. Wow, solid stuff there from that man, Andrew Lester. And, mate, for my liking, he's been one of the best competitive bodyboarders of all time, really. He's just so good in really small, really big waves. Whatever it is, he's usually makes the right decisions at the right time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a seasoned vet, isn't he? He's one of the riders who you thought would have got the world title, but he hasn't. But you just see him pick this wave and just ride this perfectly. It was such a clean barrel. And this second section throws over and he just climbs the face and gets a nice roll out of that. And I'd say that would be the best wave of his heat. He needs a 7.81 to go to first. No, 7.18, sorry, to go to first. So
he might even do that.
He could be close.
This is going to push Specs into the 8s, I'd say. He's going to need like high 8s by the time these scores go in. And he'll move up the priority ladder. He'll go to number 2 priority here behind BP. But here we go.
And Andy Lester has moved into first place. He got a 7.43. So Benny Play down to second, but as we said, Sasha Specker for second now needs a 7.08 or a 7.34 to go to first. So it is definitely doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, while we've got a break in the action, folks, we're going to throw to a commercial break. We're going to see who's paying the bills here, and we'll be back right after this, live from Arica. Well, thank you very much to Mick Parkhill, all the gang, BSC. They are probably sitting back somewhere in some kind of BSC exclusive lounge with the white leather chairs. Mick could have like a cocktail with one of those little umbrellas in it.
Yeah, just watching it. So yeah, that last one of Leicester is a pretty amazing wave, and there's 2 minutes left. Specker needing a low 7 to sort of jump into second place.
All right, well, it's not completely out of the question. So the gate's still open a little bit for Sasha Specker, but the problem at the moment is consistency of the waves, really. I mean, with just a couple of minutes remaining, he's going to have to hope that he's got Hugh on his side. Have a look at that shot with the birds going through, Dave. They're a real feature here at Arica, aren't they?
Yeah, there's heaps of sort of birds and pelicans, heaps of wildlife. There's a lot of seals in the harbour and that. They're pretty funny to look at.
Did you see Pedro and the dog yesterday, that bird and the dog sort of thing that was playing out down on the rocks yesterday?
No, I didn't see it.
It was all time for about 2 hours. Just a dog was barking at this bird, and the bird just stood its ground. Anyway, at the end, they ended up becoming friends, and right at the end of the day, the dog was like licking the bird on the head. It's pretty funny, man. It was like something out of Nat Geo. It was awesome. But have a look at this thing as we see Red using up priority.
Benny Player.
Take us through this, mate.
He's opted to go right this time, and it looks like he's going to get a big, clean bowl here. Oh, it just doesn't come in. He does big cutty to airdrop. So Benny's not going to be too annoyed at that. It looked like it was going to be a really good right-hander, but it just didn't come in enough. So he's still in second, and looks like there's a couple of waves coming, but about 50 seconds to go. And Specker is in, second priority?
No, he'd be first priority now, yeah. So, yeah, kind of a weird wave selection there for Ben, but I think he's pretty safe and sound. I mean, That way clearly won't go into the top 2. Won't be a keeper for Ben Player, but you know he's through this heat. And Sasha Specker, what's he need again, mate?
He needs a 7.08.
Yeah, 7.08.
So looks like they might Benny there just paddling back out, but looks like not too much is coming. You see Specker paddling for this little inside.
He might have to get
this
into
last
this.
ditch. This looks like a pretty good wave. He misses it.
Well, there you go, and he's lost priority anyway.
Yeah.
So that spells the end of the South Africans here at Arica, because I do believe that it was McCarthy and Specker were the last of the Saffers.